Hello, my name is NJ Franco, and these are my thoughts on Sword and Thistle by S.L. Rowland, which is another book in the Tales of Adria series, which is a collection of books by S.L. Rowland that are all meant to be standalones. So you don't need to read any of the books in the Tales of Adria series in any particular order, or even read all of them. But they do at times kind of cross over with each other at times, which I'll go more into later on in this video. Also, if you want to know my thoughts on the rest of the Tales of Adria books that I've read, I'll be posting a link down below to a playlist for all my reviews of the Tales of Adria books that I've read so far. Anyway, so this book in particular is about an adventurer named Dobbin, who's going on one final adventure because it's supposed to be like the biggest payday of his life, and he's hoping that with this payday he can then retire from adventuring. And he has to find a dragon's fire's mushroom for this high class society of people that want to eat this mushroom because apparently consuming this mushroom makes you like hallucinate or have uh, predict the future. It's kind of vague what the mushroom actually does, but these people want to pay top dollar for this particular mushroom so they can eat it and hallucinate or do whatever. And Dobbin's willing to, be the guy to get it done. Because this mushroom is called a dragon's fire mushroom, and it can only be found in soil that has been scorched with dragon's fire. Hence the name dragonfire mushroom. Now this mission will take him to Hells Crag, which is the was the site of a dragon attack hundreds of years earlier, and is now haunted by those who died in the attack. So a bit of a ghost story at times. So in my opinion, this book actually, the ghosts in this book make it a good read for Halloween time, and I really wanted to like hold off on this review and save it for Halloween time, but with scheduling conflicts, I had no choice but to do it now. So for those of you watching this video months from now, it's actually May. But if you have the ability to like hold off on reviewing this book and saving it like for closer to Halloween, I recommend you doing that because it is the perfect like Halloween spooky season kind of read. Anyway, but yeah, so this book talks about the different types of ghosts, at least in this universe, and how they operate in this universe to include ghosts, specters, apparitions, and wraiths. Now, some other thoughts that I had on this book is so, like I mentioned earlier, uh, books in the Tales of Adria series they tend to cross over with each other at times. Not every book does this, but some of them do. And Sword and Thistle is an example of that, especially if you've already read Cursed Cocktails, which again I'll be linking below in the playlist. But so in chapter 3 of Sword and Thistle, there is a crossover between Sword and Thistle and Cursed Cocktails because Cursed Cocktails, which I read first, there's a scene where Rowland, the main character of that book, has an interaction with an adventurer named Dobbins. Okay, and then in Sword and Thistle, you actually have that same interaction, but now with Dobbins' perspective on it. So in Cursed Cocktails, you see the interaction between Rowland and Dobbins from Rowland's perspective, and then if you read Sword and Thistle, you see that same interaction again between Dobbin and Rowland, except this time it's from Dobbin's perspective. So that's one of those times where it has a rare crossover between books. And it's more or less meant to be like an Easter egg, because like I said, you don't need to read every book in the series or in any particular order. They're all meant to be standalones. That scene more or less is there for those who have read both books. When they read the second one, whatever order they read it in, it's kind of a, oh, hey, I remember this scene from that. Oh, here's the perspective of the other guy from that scene. That's cool. It's just an Easter egg, really, more or less. Anyway, another thing I liked about this book, though, is it teaches that traditionally evil races like orcs and goblins and kobolds and stuff like that, traditionally evil races aren't necessarily always evil. And Dobbin is actually finds himself in situations where he has to go against his own instinct, coming across a kobold or a goblin or whatever the case may be. He has to fight his own instinct of wanting to instantly slay it and allow these stereotypically evil races to actually allow them to help him and realize that they're not all evil and that they can be good and helpful and even become part of his team at times. So it's good that it kind of teaches that. Anyway, so that's really it. This was by no means at all my favorite book in the Tales of Adria series. Honestly, that would have to be a conflict between Halfling's Harvest and There Be Dragons here. But I still very much enjoyed this book, and like I said, perfect for the spooky Halloween season. And actually, when I very first read this book, I was actually an ARC reader for it. And so this is actually so far the only ARC book I ever actually had a chance to participate in. And when I read it, it was Halloween time, so I guess S.R. Rowland kind of did that on purpose. So, like I said, great read, especially for the spooky kind of fall season. But anyway, that's it for me. So until next time, remember, nothing in life is free except for liking, commenting, and subscribing. See ya.